Thought I'd talk about Driveclub and also racing games in general for the PlayStation 4. Firstly, I'm not very good at racing games, as you can probably tell from the clips, but I do enjoy them, and at the end of the day, that's all games are about. Driveclub though, the next gen super racer for PlayStation 4. Exhilarating races in souped up cars, perfect for burning rubber and giving hours of endless entertainment. Yes? Maybe for some, but not for me. I don't hate the game. It's got some awesome features and it looks incredible. But there's one massive reason I cannot fall in love with this game, and that's because it lacks something. There's a major feature of a modern racing game that's missing, and for me, it's that feature that made previous racing games so good. That feature is upgrades and customization. There was nothing I loved more than loading up Gran Turismo and Forza, then getting to pick a rubbish first car and struggling for money, scraping through the first season of races so that I could either upgrade the car I had or buy a better car. Then going back to those races that I found so difficult and thrashing everybody. It was gratifying. It felt like you'd achieved something. For me, the ability to do that was amazing. I'd spend hours calibrating the camber angle of the wheels for extra grip, and then fiddling with the gear ratios so I could get the maximum grip through a corner and then the maximum acceleration when I was coming out of it. It was amazing. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, as my example, had all of that. Now, that's a PlayStation 2 game and it came out in 2001. Here we are in 2015 with a game that released in 2014, a flagship game, a heavily advertised game that has got way less in it than something that released 13 years ago. Now I'm well aware that from a technological point of view, the graphics, the detail, the sounds, all of that is so much better. But then Forza's got all of that stuff and those graphics in. So Driveclub has been left behind. And at the end of the day, if graphics is the trade-off between features, I'd trade a photorealistic tree for customization every time. I mean, you're doing over 100 miles an hour anyway. Who's got time to look at bloody trees? It seems like it's lacking in content for me. And I don't think it's ever going to be a serious contender for Gran Turismo and Forza, and it's more of a visual showcase. As a separate note, I'm also not a huge fan of multiplayer races. I like to play racing games in single player with a really long-winded campaign or career, ones that you slowly progress through and that feel rewarding. The reason I'm not a fan of online racing games is because it's often just a clusterfuck. Everyone crashes into everybody else, and if you're the guy working the brakes and trying to hit the apex, you'll just get the twat behind you, use you as the brake and end up spinning off into a wall. If you want a death race, just go and play Grand Theft Auto 5. In fact, Grand Theft Auto 5 racing is probably more fun than Driveclub anyway. Driveclub's solo campaign is pretty poor. The AI appears to have the brain power of a turnip and just slams into everything it sees. And to be honest, I think I'm probably being offensive to turnips with this comparison. But anyway, I'll halt the hate train, even though I don't hate it, which it probably sounds like I do. The game wasn't expensive, and you get what you pay for, I guess. I'll try and move on to something about the game that I do think is really cool, and that's the challenges. They're great. When you hit a certain part of a track, you're automatically thrown into a challenge against a friend or a random player that's been there before, and you'll have to beat his average speed, or beat his cornering, or outdrift him for some extra points. You can also send challenges to people, so if you think you've set the best lap time ever, you can send it to a friend for them to try and beat it. Now, that gets addictive, or potentially frustrating if the person who sent it to you is an arsehole or really good. There is a lack of racing on PlayStation 4 at the moment. The Crew, which I chose not to buy due to what I'd seen of it and what friends with similar tastes had said about it, and Project Cars is due to drop in May. Project Cars, from a graphical point of view, looks utterly amazing. However, it's been reported that it's got no customization either, so it looks like I can add that to the list of racing games I won't be getting as well. I guess me and the majority of my friends are stuck waiting for Gran Turismo 7 with a release date of 2015-2016, so I'd probably say either back end of 2015 or early 2016, hopefully. With a wait this long, I really do hope it's good. This isn't a game review, it's just a bit of a whine, I guess. I'm sure a lot of people enjoy Driveclub, especially if they've shelled out and bought the extra pay-to-win cars that, by the way, are so fast and handle so well that everyone else may as well just quit when they see them in the lobby. Actually, here's a question. Why is a game you've had to pay for then got a free-to-play, pay-to-win model in it? I'll leave that question open. For me, Driveclub misses something so important to me that I'll never remember this title fondly. Now with Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, I can remember my Mitsubishi Evo 5 in metallic grey with 5-spoke racing alloys bombing around midfield raceway. I can't even remember what car and track I used on Driveclub 3 hours ago. That's all for now. Have a good day. I'm off to set up my PlayStation 2.